Hello and welcome. You're watching The Federal and this is AI with Sanket. No, not the AI as you know it. This is the AI of news. Because news in India today does not need artificial but analytical intelligence. Today we are going to discuss an issue which is being faced by a lot of Indians, a lot of you. In fact, probably you have already faced this trouble of digital fraud, of digital arrest. These cases are on the rise. But that is just one part of the story. There is a fraudster who is out there to commit this crime. You fall victim. Then there is awareness which is spread. And then we try to learn how not to fall into this trap. This is part one, awareness. Part two of this story is the response of the Indian government, law enforcement agencies, or the lack of response of these agencies, because of which all the victims of digital fraud against whom this fraud has been committed already are suffering. And that does not paint a very good picture. Tomorrow it could be you, it could be me. Now, as long as it doesn't happen, everything is fine. And it's only that deterrence that the government is talking about. But what about their own accountability? What about the law enforcement agencies providing a solution to these victims of digital crime? What about returning their money? None of that is happening. The legal wheels are not turning. We are going to talk about all these problems. Is it a situation where the fraudsters are constantly evolving in their techniques and now you could be next? Let's put that to a discussion. So is this a case of digital fraudsters operating at 5G speed, whereas the law enforcement agencies still stuck in the 2G era as far as the pace of solving these cases is concerned? Remember, it is not about stopping the crime or serving the law as a deterrent. It is also grievance redressal for all the victims of the digital fraud. Joining me for this discussion is Mr. Mukesh Chaudhary, founder and CEO of CyberOps. Thank you very much, Mr. Chaudhary, for joining us. We also have Bilal Zaidi, founder and CEO of Eldera.io. This is a very significant company. They hold workshops for the elderly who are more susceptible to being victims of cyber fraud. Thank you very much, Bilal, for joining us. Biren Yadav is a digital arrest victim. Thank you very much, Mr. Yadav, for joining us. And we also have Mr. Virag Gupta, who has been very, very openly speaking about digital fraud. He's also written an opinion piece in the famous Hindi daily, Amar Ujala. I want to begin with you, Mr. Gupta, first, Virag Gupta. Law enforcement agencies, do they find themselves in a position of confusion as to how to deal with the new and innovative ways in which fraud is being pulled by these fraudsters? Every day you've got something new which is happening, a new form of digital arrest.
Sanket, to understand this whole problem, we may have to revisit the Constitution. And in the Constitution 7 schedule, IT, cyber, telecom, all these subjects are being handled by the union government, while the law and order and police is being handled by the state government. Now, in the IT Act 2000, there are no powers to the state police. And that's what happening in the status report filed by the Union Home Ministry before the Supreme Court, wherein it is said that they have formed a high power committee wherein members of the finance, foreign, home, IT, and RBI and other agencies are there, but there is no representation of the state government. So these are the crimes where interstate criminals are involved. Even criminals are based in Southeast Asia and other places. So first of all, we need to empower the state police where the FIRs are registered. Now the second anomaly is that NCRB, National Crime Record Bureau, is maintaining data. And as per that data, in the last 3 years, 21, 22, 23, around 2.05 lakhs FIRs are registered only on the cyber crimes and cyber frauds. On the other hand, there is a Home Ministry helpline, and as per that helpline, in the 3 years, around 48.93 lakhs cases are recorded in the complaint cyber frauds. So it appears that all the cyber fraud crimes are not recorded. Now, the third thing is today's Economic Times report is there that most of these cyber fraud amount is being routed through Hawala, crypto, and other channel. As per that report, around some 5 to 976 crore rupees is the cyber fraud amount. Out of that, 7647 was through the crypto, and only 167 crore rupees has been returned to the victims. Now, there is fundamental problem in the digital jurisprudence. And Sanket, let me tell you that in 2013, as per orders given by Delhi High Court in K. N. Govindachar matter, which was argued by me, these companies had to appoint the grievance officer. And let us go back to last week controversy of the Grok and Twitter. And it was found that Twitter and Grok had not appointed their grievance officer or the compliance officer in India, which is mandated as per the IT intermediary rules 2021. As per that, all the intermediaries companies have to appoint the grievance officer, nodal officer, and compliance officer in India for all type of grievance redressal. I think problem is deep rooted, as recorded by the Supreme Court, that digital arrest matter they are starting because in this type of digital arrest fraud, court and police orders are being misused. However, let us see the last 3 months digital arrest, 3 high-profile cases in Delhi.
Let me bring in Mr. Biren Yadav. Can you hear me, Mr. Yadav?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hi, good afternoon, sir. Would you like to tell us the nature of the digital arrest scam that you faced? How were you caught by surprise when this happened to you? What exactly happened? And most importantly, Mr. Yadav, if you could tell us, how did the law catch up or did not catch up in your case? It's the follow-up where the problem begins.
Yeah, the follow-up is the second phase, which is more threatening and more disappointment. As far as getting into it, it's early morning. I got a call, and it's standard that's coming in the paper. You have your phone is being transmitting in anti-national this thing, and your arrest warrant has been there. So it gets you. I said, it's not my phone. He says, then he rattles out my Aadhaar number, my PAN number, everything. So there, it's absolutely correct. So I thought somebody has done it. They take you to the same process of police and all behind. And they said that there is also a fraud of 30 crores with somebody in the bank, Canara Bank, Naresh Goel. Now, I was working for Jet Airways, so maybe, but then I said, I was very sure nothing. But then he threatened me that not only my assets, my children's assets will be taken into account. That hit me more. Why would they get involved in it? So that's when something happened. Well, they kept me on the phone for full 1 day till 6 in the evening and asked me my accounts. I tried to say that I have no money, I have this money. They rattled out my account numbers, all the account numbers, and the present status of my account. This is where you felt maybe they know about it. It's an ED. And they asked me to drive down to the banks, transfer RTGS, the standard format that we return your money, we find something wrong. I had my phone on throughout in the bank for almost 2 hours when doing the RTGS and withdrawing my FD. Not one banker came and asked me, so what are you doing? Is there any problem? And it's not a big bank, small banks in my vicinity where my accounts are there. And I broken the FD. It took almost 45 minutes to break the FDs and then send it this amount. I went to 4 banks, not one bank. ICICI, HDFC, Axis Bank, and Canara Bank, where my defense pension is there. Not one of the banks had told me, what's happening, sir? Is there any problem? Why are you transferring so much money? And thereafter, when it was transferred, and the second day, I realized something wrong. I immediately informed the cyber cell. So there was no delay from my side. This is one part of it, that I've lost money, 1.6 crores, in a format. Why it happened to me, I don't know. I went to a doctor to find out is my brain what's happened, but he says it can be done and it is normally done by them. So for 2 days I stayed with them. Why I don't know. But that's one part. The next part came, it's almost 1.5 years now. Not one arrest, not one rupee has come back. No agency has even spoken to me, said, can we help you? Is this my status? I can't get through to my status. I got some money back through the bank court order, which was the one that was frozen by the police, 6 lakhs. That money came into my account, and after 4 days, that money was frozen again because the police in some state trailed, okay, this is the amount from here, monies have gone to so and so, it has come to me, so I may be part of that gangster. Till today, 1.5 years, they haven't opened my account. I have been to the Ministry of Home Affairs, I've been to every place. I went to the Commissioner of Police. The Commissioner of Police, I told him it's a cyber who has done it. Can you speak to the counterpart there in the state? He said, no, I can't do it. You go to the court. I told him, is that the solution you're giving me? I've lost money and you want me to go to the court? I went to the court. It's again like 1.5 years, not one hearing till now in a lower court. The bankers, the lawyers won't let the proceedings go. So I, as a citizen, as a senior citizen, whom do I go to? Police doesn't help me. Ministry of Home Affairs has done nothing. Banks don't talk to me. They were very nice when I had the account said, come and sit down, have tea. Now they don't even entertain me now. So as a citizen, not one agency in the country has come back and said, can you help you? I even told them that the government had told us in the beginning that the safest place to put your money is the bank. We did that. They made changes in bank procedures. I followed those bank procedures. But when the money goes, where are they? So this is the second part has been more treacherous to me, more damaging, because there's nobody who's going to help you. Fraud happened, that's one part of it. Now, not one. Even when I know that the bank has made a mistake, how do I prove it? There's no lawyer, no hearing in the courts. It's desperate. At stage has come where you almost have given up because nothing seems to come. That's my state, basically.
My goodness, Mr. Yadav, what you have just told me is so disturbing. And I can feel, as you were speaking, I could feel that this discomfort with which you are speaking right now. My goodness. Just imagine this being the plight of so many Indians as a number of these cases are increasing. It's ever increasing.
Absolutely.
Mr. Chaudhary, yeah.
Sanketji,
Yes, Mr. Yadav.
Okay.
Virajji, one moment. Mr. Yadav is speaking. Yes.
That's the thing. And what's more hurting is the families behind. I mean, how long can they support you and things like that happen? You feel stupid that you did it. But there is nothing coming. So what do I tell them? No, something will come back. I don't know. I don't even know whether they'll come back because no one. And I am now convinced, my feeling, the bankers know who they are. The police knows who they are. The government knows who they are. Really, I felt because how can it be that a police takes a warrant to go and arrest him? He has the address. He goes there and comes back and says, sir, I didn't find him. He was not there. Family was there, but he was not there. For 1.5 years, the police has a warrant to arrest somebody and can't arrest a person in the country. I can't believe it. So what does he do? Get money?
In a situation like this, all the things that you may say, the government may say that be alert, don't share your OTP, don't, it's all nice to be preachy and let people serve as the deterrents. But at some point, the law also needs to kick in. This is the weakness of the Indian state, that people who are victims of this fraud are having to go through a situation like this, like Mr. Yadav. For what fault?
Sanket, one more point, Sanket.
Yes, sir.
I have written to an RBI as per the normal procedure. I've written to PMO's office. I've written to all the bank chairmen. Each one has rejected the application in the very first day without even going to me. RBI says, don't come to me till you 3 months finish. Don't come to me till banks reply to you. And then after 1 year, they say, no, you have sent it to the wrong address. I don't know, it's something, it's a whole, I mean, PMO has also rejected that application.
Mr. Chaudhary, you just heard Mr. Yadav. All I can say, Mr. Yadav, is that there must be thousands, lakhs of people like you who are suffering. And you speak from, I would say, Mr. Yadav, a position of privilege, right? You stay in a city, you represent the minuscule minority of the affluent in this country who have had to face so much trouble. Imagine the plight of someone who does not have the facility of this sort of grievance redressal, this sort of legal system. What about their rights? It's absolutely pathetic state of affairs. Mr. Chaudhary, I want to come to you now. Do you feel that the way to stop this crime, number one is, of course, people becoming more and more aware and alert. But you can only be alert to a crime which you know is happening to others. How will you be alert to a crime which is yet to happen? These fraudsters are one step ahead. And when the government does not take action, when law enforcement agencies do not take action or delay, like in the case of Mr. Yadav, what precious little do you want people to do by not sharing OTP? There will be some new type of fraud. Now there are frauds where even from a missed call, everything will be cleared up. Your accounts will be clean.
Yes, so basically, obviously, this modus operandis keep on coming, new modus operandis as government or agencies or the citizens keep awareing themselves. Now, the problem is, if I start the problem starts with the awareness thing. Okay, so if you think that yes, do not share your OTP to everyone is a proper awareness statement, it is not. Why? Because if you book a cab, you have to share your OTP. If you are expecting a courier at your doorstep, you have to share your OTP. So this statement is not fully correct. So that is why awareness has to be done in a proper manner and more effective manner. Most of the time you see agencies and organizations, they do awareness programs wherein they get platforms like college and universities, which is an easy place to aware because they have a platform also, they have gathering also, they have auditorium facilities and awareness can be conducted there. But financial frauds, which are happening out of 10 cases at a police station, almost 8 to 9 cases are related to financial frauds, which are majorly happening with the working class or the retired ones. So how they are getting the awareness content delivered to their home? So basically what police can do is one easy and effective method which they should adopt is using community policing. Because awareness should be spreaded to each and every house. If there are 5 members living there, all should be aware. You can't do this by just setting a caller tune because when you call someone, it will maybe for 5 seconds, 10 seconds, you are listening to the caller tune, your entire awareness can't be covered in that particular caller tune. Okay. So, and getting like hiring some brand ambassadors.
Mr. Chaudhary, you see, you're referring to Mr. Amitabh Bachchan, who was a brand ambassador, and then we all heard that caller tune, which frankly became very irritating. Because for people who are victims of cyber fraud like Mr. Yadav, he will only get irritated each time he would listen to Amitabh Bachchan telling him to be more aware. The problem is, see, point number 1 is that people have to be aware. I agree. We have to be alert, aware, updated. Agree. But you have to realize that these fraudsters are a step ahead. In a situation like this, a very proactive law enforcement agency will do the trick. And that is where the problem arises. Like in the case of Mr. Yadav, look how long it is taking for grievance redressal, and yet he is far away from a solution. Bilal Zaidi, I want to come to you now as someone who is the founder of Eldera.io. You actively educate, make the elderly, who are the most vulnerable sections of the society, susceptible to cyber fraud, you make them aware by conducting workshops. What about those who are already victims of cyber fraud?
Yeah, no, of course, in terms of law enforcement, there are major challenges. In fact, we do these workshops and we go door to door. We try to be on the ground. We work with RWAs. So we ideally, we bring a group of 30 to 40 elderly people in a room and we train them. And in that also, we've realized that, this law enforcement is a major challenge that's coming up. There is this huge question of whether that 1930 helpline number, does that work or not? For a lot of people, it doesn't even work. Is there a follow-up? Is there a communication that they will receive? Is there a monthly update that they'll get from law enforcement at whichever level it is? If the amount is much higher, then probably an EOW also comes in. But even your local police station or the cyber cell of your city, they are supposed to give you updates, but that doesn't happen in many cases. So I feel that's a major policy gap which needs to be addressed. We are working on the prevention side of things and the community support side of things. We believe, like so far, for example, we've trained more than 3,000 people, and we get them all on WhatsApp groups, and we regularly keep updating them. So that ensures that if they hear, if they get a phone call with somebody trying to be very conduct a cyber fraud or something, then in that case, they already know that this is how it works, right? So I think awareness is definitely a very major part of how we have to go about it. There's also a major question around who is creating this problem and who is supposed to solve it. Let's first of all accept that this hyper digitization of everything, your banking is going online, your cab is going online, your grocery is going online, your maid order, plumber, carpenter, everything is going online, right? Now, in that, there are tech companies that are doing really well. They're making a lot of money. Do we park the solution with them? Do we ask them to create digital inclusion? Because when they are creating hyper digitization of the society, then those who are getting left out, in this case, let's say the elderly people, should they help in trying to bring a solution? Should we reach out to the governments? Should the governments now have specific cells that are trying to solve these problems on a very broad footing, right? Have a specific cell, especially for senior citizens. Can they give a timeline that within 3 weeks you will hear about it, or almost like a customer service that a private company does, right? So I think in that case, we will all have to figure out first as a society on what is the solution that we seek. Can we let go of sections of our society that are not, let's say, profitable anymore? So senior citizens, not part of the active market, let them figure it out themselves, right? I think that's where this entire debate is right now parked. And we as active citizens, we will have to now make sure that we are also offering solutions, not just at the prevention level, which is, a lot of this activity, these caller tunes, billboards, conferences in New Delhi, all of that is fine. But I think there's also a question of how deep are we going to reach, and are we ready to go on the ground and work with people who are the most...
No, my point is, where is the support system for someone like Mr. Yadav to get a solution? It has been established that he is a victim of a fraud. It's all nice for this to be a headline, to make others aware. I understand awareness helps. Prevention is better than cure. But where a disease has spread, you need the cure. Where is the cure? Mr. Yadav, I want to, if you could just repeat for the benefit of our viewers very briefly. I know it's very painful. I totally empathize with your situation where for 1.5 years to recover your money, where agencies realize that yes, a fraud has happened and you're being failed by the state, by the various arms of the state. Will that be a correct submission?
Of course, it's absolutely correct. Now, if I have told the police, and in fact, when it happened, I was getting the call from the number when I was in the police station. He says, I can't trace the call because it's not here, it's outside the country. Why can't the government ask Skype? They were part of it. The internet, the WhatsApp, get these numbers from them. They should be able to. Your Indian number is coming on WhatsApp, but he's saying, no, it's from outside the country. Why is the system failed? Then why have this internet system like this? Number two, The banker knows my full profile of how it should be done. Why didn't he monitor? They are very. My own worry is who gave my account number? Who gave my status of my account? It's very serious. And when you hear this, you then tend to believe that, okay, he really is from ED because he knows everything. And this has leaked from the bank. And a good high bank that we talk of, I won't even say private bank, why? Because in Canada Bank also it has happened. He has full details. And like he just mentioned that the amount of for everything, give me your Aadhaar card, sir, give me your Aadhaar card, give me your Aadhaar card. From when we started, there was a debate on it that we have to be careful. Our data must not get leaked. Everything has leaked. Everything is in the. He showed me a arrest warrant for me in which all the details, my details, family details were given, including the Aadhaar number and everything already typed, and he showed it to me on the Skype. So you tend to
And Mr.
believe.
Yadav, you must have thought to yourself that this is so authentic that I do not want a situation where I violate the law.
Yeah,
because that would be a whole new complication.
My children were framed into it. The question is, when you know it's true, I was aware of it. I'm an ex-Air Force officer. I know about what's happening. But when you give me the data, the truth in it, and then say your children will be affected, it hits you badly. And your mind goes haywire. It went. Why it went, I still don't know. But the very fact, if it has happened, shouldn't that system have come back to support and catch those people when I reported in time? Till now, the bank says, since you transferred the money, it's your fault. That's why the PMOs returned my thing, it's your fault. So the system has failed.
Bilal, a situation like this is not going to help anyone's cause. You can have as many ringtones or caller tunes or billboards as you want. A situation like this will not. Are you trying to blame? Are you trying to put the blame on an innocent citizen trying to, number one, catch up with technology, number two, be aware of the different types of frauds, and number three, bang their head against the law enforcement agencies? That, okay, fine, a fraud has happened, help me.
Sanket, one other thing that I really want to pick up from Mr. Yadav's account here is that there is increasingly a feeling, and that we are seeing with a lot of other people, especially senior citizens that we are working with, is that there is connivance somewhere. How come somebody found out that I had made a real estate purchase 4 years ago in, say, Noida, and they know the exact details of what this transaction was like? The A part and the B part, right? So you suddenly realize that, okay, this is something larger, they've found out, right? So effectively as a society, there are lots of gray areas in our lives as well. Increasingly what's happening is that the nature of data that these scamsters have, the nature of that data is very sensitive. It's not ordinary data that you'll get like your phone number is ordinary data, right? Your email ID, your Aadhaar number, this is all public data. That's still fine.
But technically your phone number is not supposed to be public data. But such are the times that we are living in that you're calling it ordinary data.
So it's kind of so public that it's not vulnerable. But what's the amount of money in your account? What was the transaction 4 years ago in your bank account? This is sensitive information that you expect only law enforcement to have, right? That's why digital arrest is happening again and again, because the kind of framing and the narrative that the scamsters are coming with, this is extremely sensitive in terms of the information that the ordinary citizens don't expect anybody else to have other than law enforcement. So that's why it is believable, and hence data handling is emerging as a major challenge. The other part is we are seeing no public response from any authority or this becoming a political issue at all. The number of people who are getting affected, and it's kind of made a lot of people stop using their phones. So we know a lot of people who are like, no, scams are happening everywhere. I don't even have an app on my phone. I'm not going to use Uber. I'm not going to use Blinkit and so on, because they're scared of using their phones. So that in a way, again, adds to the drama, because then they're getting digitally excluded, completely thrown out of the system, right? So I think you expect the political authorities, you expect state, you expect your law enforcement to be more responsive to those who are.
Well, you know, Bilal, after listening to what Mr. Yadav has gone through, all I can say is that, and I know this may appear like a flimsy comment, will it take a fraudster to commit a fraud with the Prime Minister of this country, the Speaker, the President, the Leader of Opposition? No, forget Leader of Opposition. Will it take a fraudster to defraud a sitting union minister upwards for there to be awareness that yes, this is the reality many Indians like Mr. Yadav are living? And then the law enforcement agencies doing what they are doing to Mr. Yadav. It's shameful. It is absolutely shameful for these agencies to turn around and tell Mr. Yadav, it's your fault. You paid them the money. This is exactly how crime happens. One has to figure out a way to provide the solution. That is where the law enforcement agencies are failing. It's all nice to give me a collar tune. We will be aware, trust me. Indians will be aware to this new challenge. But what are you doing? Awareness is just one part. Mr. Yadav, Bilal Zaidi, thank you very much for joining us on this discussion. We'll continue to do many more such programs till such time that these frauds come down in number. As of now, that is not happening. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.